question about what exactly is this resolution urging?
Our council.
Council President, I'd be happy to address that.
Please do.
It's a great pleasure that we bring this resolution tonight along with an ordinance change that will be discussed later this evening. But specifically, the mayor has heard from a great wealth of residents about the problems with dirt bikes within the city, their prevalence, the noise that's created by them, and the potential danger that they face to the community. So to tackle that, we looked at the existing laws. The state law currently prohibits dirt bikes from operating on a public roadway. However, if someone is given a summons and ultimately found guilty of that violation, the vehicle can be impounded upon the giving of the summons. However, once the individual comes back to the impound, pays the requisite fine, the vehicle is then released. It would be a great help to municipalities throughout the state if we were able to confiscate these dirt bikes and not have to return them. However, the state law doesn't allow for that. So Mayor Mapp has taken on that responsibility. Even though this is a statewide problem, the mayor wants to be the first to petition the legislature to amend the law to allow municipalities to confiscate dirt bikes. Secondly, although the state law prohibits bikes on public roadways, it does not address public parks. The mayor has taken the step tonight to introduce an ordinance for council consideration that would prohibit all dirt bikes, motorized vehicles from operating in parks, because it's become known to us that a lot of these dirt bikes are operating in our parks. So those two items are on tonight. And we bring them forward with the hopes of trying to curb the dirt bikes within the city of Plainfield and hopefully tackle this problem for other municipalities throughout the state. Thank you.
Any follow-up questions or questions from other colleagues? All right, well, hearing and seeing none, do we have a motion and a second?
Moved.
Okay, clerk, can I have a roll call?
Councilmembers Davis?
Yes.
Penna?
Yes.
McCray?
Yes.
Ms. Ransom?
Yes.
Welch?
Yes.
Vice President Good?
Yes.
President Hockaday?
Yes.
Resolution's been adopted on first reading.
Clerk, will you please read MC 2021-15 by title?
MC 2021-15 is an ordinance creating Article 24 titled Motorized Sports Bikes and Related Vehicles.
Any questions from council members?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Mr. Mancello, you kind of brushed over it earlier in talking about the resolution that was on the agenda earlier. Can you just kind of explain for the public what this ordinance entails and what are the consequences of riding your dirt bike within the city of Plainfield if and when this is passed on the second reading?
Thank you, Councilwoman. Currently, under state law, it is illegal to operate a dirt bike on a public roadway. However, the state law does not address public parks. Mayor Mapp has tonight introduced an ordinance to make it a municipal violation to operate a dirt bike in a public park. If you operate a dirt bike, if this ordinance is to be adopted, if you operate a dirt bike within a public park, the first offense is no less than $250 and no more than $500. And a second offense or all subsequent offenses shall be not less than $1,000 fine. And the fines are as punitive as they are because the issue of dirt bikes has become a true nuisance, a real nuisance within the city. It is a problem statewide, and the mayor took this extraordinary step to try to curb the use of dirt bikes within the city.
Thank you. As a follow-up, I do want to applaud the administration because dirt bikes have been a problem. And it seems that on the first warm day, they're back out, and it's becoming increasingly a problem. And we are only like 2 weeks into spring. So my question is, what is the plan for enforcement? Because we know that the ordinance is only as good as the enforcement of that ordinance. So we know that it's illegal, but I know some of the concerns I've heard from residents, I'm sure the mayor has heard, as well as all the council members have heard, is about the issue of enforcement and actually enforcing this ordinance. So is there a plan in place to actually enforce this ordinance? Because it's a great ordinance, and I'd hate to see it kind of just talk if it's not enforced.
I can speak on that, Mr. Mancello. Councilwoman Davis, that is a good question. And as I have stated in the past, that we will continue to do enforcement, just like with the state laws, as well as with this new ordinance, if it is adopted. We will continue to do that in a safe manner, because we, just like for the safety of our citizens as well as the riders, we want to make sure that everyone is no one gets hurt in these type of situations. This is a challenging area. It's an issue that's been going on all across the state, the country for that matter. And I know that it is a quality of life issue and a nuisance to our residents. And we will continue to do the best that we can in keeping everybody safe in the interest of public safety and trying to enforce the state statutes, as well as if this new ordinance is adopted. I hope that answers your question. But officers are, residents can call, they can report where the dirt bikes incidents are occurring, to call the non-emergency number, as well as if there is known residents know where dirt bikes may be, they can also call the police department or utilize our tip email, which is on the city website, and report information there as well. But we will continue to do enforcement as we can, as long as we are doing it in a safe manner, in the interest of public safety.
Thank you, Director, for that. Any follow-up questions?
Yeah, I just want to clarify here. So it was illegal last year for them to ride dirt bikes down the streets because that's a state statute. That has been something that has been able to have been enforced last year, the year before, and 5 years before that. All we are doing is passing a city ordinance that makes parks riding dirt bikes, non-licensed, really, a motorcycle in there, choosing any kind of a bike, motorized bike in a park. So, the key to this is enforcement, because the illegal nature of the bike riding that's been going on for the last few years has been able to be enforced. It's been illegal since it's been going on. This is just after the park element to a local municipal.
Councilman, if I could just speak to that though. One of the problems is that we don't have, the state legislation has not given us the tools that we need to keep these bikes off of the road. Individual gets a ticket, gets a summons, the bike is impounded. As soon as the fines are paid to the impound, the bike is back on the street. That's why the mayor is calling upon the legislature to give us the tools we need by allowing us to confiscate these bikes when they're used in an illegal manner. So that's the ordinance is one piece, but we need help from the state legislature because we're bound by the state law here.
Well, I totally understand that. I'd be curious to know how many summons have been written for motorbikes.
Councilman McKenna, I definitely understand your concern, and as residents' concerns, I feel them. I get those concerns and speak to many residents in regards to it. And as I stated before, this is a very challenging area, and trying to deal with the dirt bikes and also trying to deal with it as safely as possible. I think that it has to be something that we have to look at both sides, because we don't want to see anyone get hurt within the community, nor the riders. Officers are going to do the best that they can to enforce, but we're not going to pursue vehicles.
No,
and most of the
I
time,
don't go down that road because I didn't ask you to pursue. So,
okay.
but I wanted to clarify too. One other thing, Mr. Mancello, is the fines for this, not this ordinance, the state statute, are they set and locked at a state level, or can they be modified at a municipal level?
No, unfortunately, the state sets the fines.
Because they're getting the money anyway. aren't they?
Yes, most of it, yes. So unfortunately, we can't increase those funds. That was a exact question that the mayor had asked, and see if we could increase the fines beyond that, but unfortunately, we're locked in with the state.
Right, thank you.
Just as a follow-up, because I don't want to belabor it, because I think this is a great ordinance.
Sure.
Some of the concern regarding the enforcement aspect, and I totally get it, about being safe and making sure that we're safe for not only our officers, but our residents, as well as the people who are on dirt bikes. One of the concerns is when people are submitting these tips, or they are saying, hey, I know where the dirt bike is, they feel as though maybe, even though they're saying it, it's not really like nothing is changing, like the dirt bikes are still there. Also, I know one of the concerns is like residents are afraid of retaliation from the people who are on dirt bikes, because essentially it's neighbors reporting neighbors.
I understand, and just know that even with that tip line and where the bikes are, it still has to be in a manner that is in, proper legal manner with the law. Just because you tell us where a bike is, it doesn't mean we can just go on someone's property and take the bike. So there has to be more of an investigation done into that. So it's still going to have to be done, in line with the law. So, but we do want, we do need residents' assistance as well as calling. And let me just say, I do know that there's been some concerns with the non-emergency number and residents calling, and that is an area that we have been trying to work on and getting that call filtered properly so it goes to dispatch, getting those calls. We've made some adjustments in the past, and when we thought it worked, it's still being rerouted differently. So I just want the residents to know that we are working on that area too. So when they do make those non-emergency calls, that the calls do go directly to dispatch.
All right, thank you for the engagement there. I'll entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, clerk, may I have a roll call?
Councilmembers Davis,
Absolutely, yes.
McKenna,
100% yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Mills Ransom,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Council President Good,
Overdue, yes.
Council President Bobby.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on first reading.